This is the story of Pedro, a little dog who was in desperate need of a hero. When rescuers first saw him, he was in a terrible state. He was just a skeleton, so skinny and weak it was hard to look at. But the thing that broke their hearts the most was his eyes. He had these big, precious eyes that just seemed to be screaming one simple, silent word: help. He was so emaciated and so very, very anemic. He was basically a little ghost, weak and fading. He needed help, and he needed it immediately. His rescuers soon learned the horrifying truth of why he was so sick. It wasn't just neglect, it was something much worse. Pedro's family had been giving him ibuprofen. This is a common human medicine, but it is deadly toxic to dogs. It poisons their system, shutting down their organs and stopping their blood from clotting. His family may have thought that it would help him in some way, maybe for a pain they didn't understand, but they were accidentally and tragically killing him. Because of this poisoning, his body was in a state of crisis. Getting Pedro to safety wasn't a simple surrender. The original kind person who had found him and realized something was terribly wrong had to fight for him. They knew he wouldn't survive if he stayed where he was. This person had to push and push, even getting law enforcement involved. They had to put pressure on the family, explaining that the dog was dying and needed immediate medical help. Finally, after this hard fight, the family agreed to give Pedro up. He was finally in safe hands, but the clock was ticking, and he was fading fast. The immediate, most urgent thing was getting him to the emergency vet. His rescuers rushed him there, and the vet team confirmed he was in critical condition from the ibuprofen poisoning. His body was shutting down. The poison had made him so severely anemic that he couldn't survive on his own. He needed an immediate, life-saving blood transfusion just to stay alive. The team got to work right away, fighting to save this little dog who had been through so much. His new rescuers could only wait and hope. They gently promised him, "It's going to be okay. We're going to take good care of you, okay?" But they were terrified. It was a promise they couldn't keep. Those first 24 hours were truly touch and go. No one knew if he would survive the night. His little body was so weak, and the poison had done so much damage. It was a terrifying, quiet wait, just watching him breathe. But Pedro was a fighter. He had held on for this long, all alone, and he wasn't ready to give up now that he finally had help. After that long, scary 24-hour period, he was still with them. He was stable. His rescuers could finally breathe a little. They looked at him, and for the first time, they felt a wave of relief. They knew, right then, that he was going to make it. That was the big turning point. From that moment on, Pedro's new life truly began. Every single day after that, he got a little bit better. It was amazing to watch his transformation. The first sign that he was feeling better was a tiny wag of his tail. It was just a little thump, but it meant everything. It showed that the dog inside, the happy spirit, was still there and was starting to come back. Soon, he was strong enough to show interest in other things, not just surviving. He started chewing on bones, something he probably hadn't had in a very long time. He began to show interest in toys, learning how to be a normal, playful dog. Most importantly, he started wanting love. He would lean in for pets and soak up all the affection, finally understanding that these new hands were there to help him, not hurt him. His rescuers said they felt like they were floating again, just seeing him so happy. Pedro also had a bad case of mange, a skin condition from his neglect. But his body was healing, and his skin cleared up. His rescuers had to be careful, because for a while, his mange was contagious. But they took wonderful care of him, and his fur started to grow back. Once he was at the point where his mange was not contagious anymore, it was a great day. This meant they could start promoting him and looking for his forever home. Pedro's recovery was truly amazing. He bounced back into shape in about a month, which was a true miracle considering how close to death he had been. The dog, who was once a skinny, poisoned skeleton with help-me eyes, was now a happy, healthy, playful boy, ready for the next chapter of his life. And that chapter came very quickly. Thanks to all the care he received, he went on to find his perfect forever home. After surviving toxic poisoning, being saved by a caring stranger, and fighting for his life in the hospital, Pedro finally got the happy ending and the loving family he always deserved. If this story touched you, give it a like.